Not much. Just very impressed by the trousers, Michael. Leather trousers. I'm hugely envious of the confidence there.
It's comfortable.
I know you're at the premiere last night, obviously, Leicester Square. I've seen that you've had a few encounters with the UK boxing media.
Yeah.
Very strange sport, isn't it? That someone can just walk around with a camera and get like the best access. It's obviously the film. I watched it the other day, loved it, and it's such a love song to boxing. Lots of small, like intricate details that people that really love the sport will see and appreciate, but also moments in there where you sort of get the inherent dirtiness of the sport and how unfair it can be sometimes. How's your relationship been with boxing in the kind of 9 years you've been doing this series of films?
I think my relationship with boxing has grown. I think even as a kid to now, I'm used to watching boxing matches with my dad and just kind of like just having that experience, going to fight parties and stuff like that. To actually being responsible for like how the world looks at boxing. I think that's a huge responsibility, and wanting to just do it justice. And hearing the grumblings or the people that might not know boxing that well and think it's just just a violent, bloody sport, and there's nothing else to it. I think diving into the smarts of it, and the intelligence of boxing, I think was really, really important for me on this one. And this is the 9th movie throughout the sagas. To be able to really, it kind of forced me to be more creative and think outside the box and really show it from a different angles, from different in a different light, and that's what kind of drove me in this direction.
You say that do it justice. Sometimes it's hard because it doesn't do itself justice. Sometimes
it's tough.
You mentioned in the film there's talk about like purse splits and there's the bets and things not being necessarily always fair.
Mm-hmm.
As you've got closer to it and there's so many amazing cameos in it,
mm-hmm.
how much of that kind of like disappointment and unfairness of boxing you've seen
in real life?
In real life, yeah, because
yeah.
It's a strange sport, and that the more you love it, the more it can take from you. In other sports, it seems to be like a better correlation. How did you find that, getting close to all the different guys in the industry?
I mean, it was interesting to hear them talk about it the same way we talk about it, like feeling like being unfair, in certain areas, or like just the politics. I think there's the inner politics of any sport, but particularly with boxing, there's it's a sensitive one sometimes. So obviously fights that are supposed to happen, fighters that want to fight or want to fight, that never fight and never happen, and or past the time that it was supposed to happen for it to be really, really interesting, and just all that drama I wanted to somehow kind of thread into it lightly, just so it felt more realistic and grounded in a real way. So yeah, there was I think while I was making the movie, I think everybody had fought. I think I want to say Canelo fought, and Terrence fought. Tony didn't fight; he was already retired. But yeah, so just to be able to see. These fighters that I had in the movie actually go through their own, living their life and their career. It was great to have that correlation.
And as you've mentioned, some amazing cameos in there. People like Stitch Duran as well, and like Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s in there and all stuff like that. But I noticed that the Terence Crawford bit, I've met him before. The coolest man on earth, but also top 3 most terrifying men I've ever met in my life.
1000%.
Talk to me about training with Terence Crawford.
Terence, great man. He's a workhorse. I mean, that dude, he's just different. Just from like being in the ring with him to just working out and drills, and his pace and stamina and endurance, bro, is next level. Like I'm in decent shape. I thought I was pretty good shape, and this guy, I'm like, this guy's not even sweating right now. Why is he not sweating? What is going on? I'm over here dying. But that's just the difference. This guy's world class, man. Best in the world. At what they do. So like to be blessed enough for them to take away from their camp to come play make believe with me, was an honor, and I think it's just a testament to the franchise.
And US boxing is going through a sort of strange period at the moment because it hasn't had its sort of marquee heavyweight for a few years, and it's maybe not had the big nights that it deserves. This film obviously depicts a huge night happening in Los Angeles. Do you think films like this, putting that positive spin on boxing, making it feel big, making it feel huge, taking all the little care to show the presentation of boxing how it really is, do you think films like this are needed in the States to have an effect on the sport and kind of bring a bit of popularity back?
That's a great point. I mean, I didn't think about it in that way, but I hope so. I mean, I hope this movie can help inject some enthusiasm, back into the sport, and especially from the States, and like maybe, Shakur Stevenson is heavyweights. Oof, yeah. Yeah.
We got Wilder, who's been great, but hasn't necessarily got the fame and glory that he deserves.
I think honestly, the sport of boxing, it was in a lull for a really long time, and then obviously with these exhibition fights and all these other things that are starting to make it more of a spectacle of it, and brought the boxing conversation back to the top. I think that's a start. Now you start to see these guys, wanting to get back in the ring again. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to start proving themselves. Like, no, those aren't real boxers. I'm boxing now. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the competitiveness that lie within, true boxers, that spent their whole careers fighting, is starting to kind of get riled up a little bit. And hopefully this film is like the icing on the top, on the cake. You know what I'm saying? It's like the cherry on top that maybe pushes them over the edge and you know what, let's get back into it. So I mean, the guys that I know that box, they're really excited about the movie. They're excited about fighting, and that gets me hopeful.
All right, very last thing, quick fire. A couple of predictions for you. A few fights coming up.
Let's do it.
Tommy Fury, Jake Paul.
Ooh, that's so tough. Fury. I'm gonna go with Fury.
All right then, Tyson Fury, Usyk.
Oh my God, Tyson.
And then Garcia versus Tank.
Tank.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Man.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Legend. Thank you.